And so begins back-to-back days of off-season videos starting in the Northeast Challenge. Tomorrow will be the Commanders Replacement Squad series. I've already recorded that one, and you do not want to miss it. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified of when that video goes out. But today, we're focusing on the Northeast Challenge. And honestly, I'm not really sure how this offseason is going to go. Very similar to the last one. There's just not a lot of players from the Northeast, so I don't think free agency is going to be very big. We'll get through that rather quickly. Mostly going to be focused on the draft and then potential trades maybe after the draft. But with that being said, we do have to run through some of the end of the year things, including Pro Bowl rosters. And we'll run through both sides as quickly as possible. Quarterbacks are going to be Lawrence, Brady, Hurts, Burrow, Brissett, and Rodgers. Running backs, Patterson, McCaffrey, Walker, Taylor, Elliott, and Harris. Fullbacks, Ricard, Holiday, Carter, and Juszczyk. So Juszczyk makes it for us. And if he doesn't retire, I have something in mind for Juszczyk moving forward. At receiver, Smith, Duvernay, Godwin, Wilson, Landry, and Samuel. St. Brown, Cup, Boyd, Chase, Olave, and Higgins. Tight ends are going to be Everett, Rodriguez, Ingram, Gesicki, Knox, and Goddard. Left tackles, Thomas, Smith, Tunsil, and Brown. Left guards, Nelson, Bitonio, Jenkins, Dotson, with centers Humphrey, Jensen, Lindsley, Williams. Right guards, Teller, Onwenu, Martin, and Scherf. And then right tackles, Wirfs, Johnson, Sewell, and Becton. So we only had the fullback on par. The offense was not good this season. Left ends, Lawrence, Jordan, Hutchinson, and Young. Right end, Miller, Garrett, Donald, and Hayward. DTs are going to be Allen, Buckner, Payne, Lawrence, Williams, and Clark. Left outside linebacker, Reddick, Gregory, Watt, and Allen. Middle linebackers, White, Collins, David, and Jack. Right outside linebacker, Parsons, Highsmith, Gay, and Carter. And corners are going to be Boye, Slay, Murphy Jr., Diggs, White, Sneed, Terrell Jr., and more. Safeties, Scene, McKinney, Clark, and Phillips. Grant, Johnson, Delpit, and Ward. So unless I'm forgetting some people, I don't think our defense had a single one either, which isn't fantastic. Kickers are going to be Carlson, Dixon, Tucker, and Chrisman. And then returners, Penny, Brown, Thurston, and Cephas. So I think we really just had Juszczyk, our fullback. Again, plans for him moving forward. As for yearly awards, we have Joe Burrow as the MVP. And Coach of the Year was Lovie Smith. On the AFC side, Offensive Player of the Year goes to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. Offensive Rookie is Jose Escobar. I want to say he was a tight end for the Dolphins, I believe. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Joshua Sharp. We did have Courtney Riddick and Stephen Collins at 4 and 5, so nice. Best quarterback went to Joe Burrow. Best running back, Ezekiel Elliott. Best receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Best O-line, Brandon Scherf. Best D-line, Aaron Donald. We did have Alton Robinson down at 7. Best linebacker, TJ Watt. Best DB, Tre'Davious White. And best kicker, Corey Altman. Also the second best kicker, Matt Gay, both of them for the Bills. As for the NFC, Devontae Smith, Offensive Player of the Year. Von Miller, Best Defensive Player of the Year. Brandon Vickers wins Offensive Rookie of the Year as Christopher Carmichael, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jalen Hurts, Best Quarterback. Joe Mixon, Best Running Back. Devontae Smith, Best Receiver. Wyatt Teller, Best O-Line. Von Miller, Best D-Line. Hassan Reddick, Best Linebacker. AJ Boye, Best DB. And Jason Sanders, Best Kicker. And it's the division rival Bills who win the Super Bowl 31-28. No longer are they sitting with the Vikings, being one of the only teams to just not play very well in Super Bowls. Buffalo Bills get their first 5-time AFC champion, and it's Nasir Adderley, the free safety, who wins the Super Bowl MVP. And as predicted, at the end of the season, Matt Ryan does finally retire after 16 years. I want to say he was 39. So yeah, he did really well for us I'll say really well. He led us to the AFC Conference Championship in the first season. Second season, he clearly was missing most of what he had remaining. So we obviously went ahead, switched it, gave it to Tyree Jackson, and now we need to find another quarterback to potentially be a starter, maybe even a backup. And here is where the real offseason begins. Not a lot of players wanted to re-sign after how bad the last season was, so we just went ahead, jumped straight on over to the open free agency. And here's what the team needs, or here's what the team just in general currently looks like. Tyree Jackson, our only quarterback. We need to add at least one. At running back, we have our main two, and Isaiah Pacheco and AJ Dillon. Would like to add a third / need to add a third. Now, I obviously had just mentioned several times, I have a plan for Kyle Juszczyk, and that's going to be moving him to tight end. I want to see how he could do at that spot. We've been all right at that spot. I mean, nothing spectacular by any means. Now, Kyle Juszczyk is a fantastic player, and I would like to get him more involved. He'll still be a fullback for us, but I also want to see how he could do at that tight end spot. Now, speaking of that, he does come in as our highest rated tight end, a 78. Hunter Long has been solid, but we did lose out on one of our other tight ends, so now we have 3 remaining, so I think we're good at that spot. Receiver, Raymond, and Jeff Smith are our top guys. Andy Isabella has shown signs of being all right here and there. Bill Melton, I would like to get more involved. Tajay Sharp's kind of lost out on his ability, and there's a really good receiver in this draft class. Tristan Jackson really hasn't shown anything, and there was a undrafted rookie, I believe, last year that was on the practice squad. So we'll see if he can do anything this year. As for the offensive line, we have Alec Lindstrom at left tackle, as well as Anthony Oliver. Now, we do not have any guys in the middle, and then Chris Lindstrom and Larnell Coleman. So we need to find some offensive linemen for sure. On the defensive line, Alton Robinson, and then a handful of low-level backups. At right end, Khalil Mack still playing in his 11th season, 84 overall, and then Don Westerman backing him up. DTs, we have Zach Allen, and that's it. Julius Pryor is more so of an end guy who we've just kind of stuck there. So we'll need to try to bring back Fatou Kassi and Joseph Day. At left outside linebacker, Courtney Riddick will continue to be our starter there. We also have Isaiah McDuffie, and then Kevin Pierre-Louis may make the squad if we have to keep him. Middle linebacker, Alua Khan, an 85, with Brenton Barnett, a lowly 58. Matt Milano still doing strong at 30 years old, 86 overall. We also have Zaire Franklin. So if there's some linebackers we could bring in, at least for depth, definitely we'll look to do that. Corner, though, we're looking pretty good. Isaiah Rodgers will continue to be our main guy. Yiadom had a solid season. Will Harris, not fantastic. I think we're going to give this start to Stephen Collins moving forward in that nickel slot spot. And then safety is honestly doing pretty good. Justin Simmons, really good with Cam Lewis as the backup. And then Logan Ryan sticking around for his 12th season, 72 overall though. If there's someone to replace him, we could look to do that, but there might not be. And then Lucas Dennis as the backup. Riley Dixon may continue as our kicker. He didn't have a fantastic second season. And Sterling Hoffrichter has been solid for us at punter. And in the first round of open free agency, mostly just trying to get our players back. We will be missing out on Joseph Day. He has a lot of contract offers, which I'm okay with. He honestly didn't perform all too great for us, so it is what it is. But we're putting out a really big offer for Zion Johnson. Want to lock him down as he's one of the better young offensive linemen we have. And we're making a push for Gus Edwards. Not a strong push, but just a solid one-year deal, as we potentially will be very run heavy this next season. Trying to bring back Fatou Kassi. No one else is putting in any offers, but we've put in a good one. Trying to bring back Elijah Wilkinson and Matt Pert. So that's pretty much all of it. The only one who really has any competition is Zion Johnson. So hopefully he goes with the money as we evaluate one time. Only one left is Edwards. And Zion Johnson does return, as well as Fatou Kassi, Wilkinson, and Pert. So everyone who was on the team is back on the team. Just need Gus Edwards to commit as well. And this is essentially the rest of everyone we were trying to bring in open free agency. As mentioned, there's not a lot. It's actually, I think, the smallest amount of players available for one of these state-only challenges. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. But trying to bring back Dolgala, who was with us season 1, was not with us season 2, to at least try to have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, maybe add another in the draft. But let's evaluate, and hopefully they both sign. Okay, Dolgala is back. Now, it does look like Gus Edwards still looking for a little bit of some more money, so maybe we will give him a little bit of some more money just for a 1-year deal. Just trying to lock it down, so like I said, we have as many good running backs as possible because it might be very run heavy this next season. So with our last evaluation, we will go ahead and click, and he still hasn't decided he wanted to join. And after simming on over to the next week and doing one more evaluation, Gus Edwards finally decides to join. So in total, our free agency is Zion Johnson, Gus Edwards, Fatukasi, Elijah Wilkinson, Matt Pert, and Jake Dolgala. Now let's see if I could try to pronounce this correctly. I remember looking it up earlier on. Fulorunso Fatukasi. Probably butchering that first name, but I know the last name at least. Most of these guys are just coming back or have been with us before. Gus Edwards is the only entirely new guy. And just like that, already draft time. And there's really no drama here because we have the first pick. It was that bad of a season. And there's really only one player that deserves to be picked this early. Out of Boston College, wide receiver Kyrie Gatewood, a physical archetype, 6'3", 226, 21 years old. Needs to work on simple concentration drops, exceptional body control on the sidelines, fights for every single inch as a runner, no issues climbing the ladder to make catches, avoids big hits following catches, excels at creating yards after the catch, and shows good discipline so he won't get flagged much. There's really not a lot to dislike. Obviously, the first one about concentration drops aren't fantastic, but he does have solid speed. Not fantastic 3-cone. That acceleration, a little bit slow, but agility is there. He could clearly jump. He's already tall. Needs to work a little bit on his deep route running, but A, short, B, medium, has, fantastic catching ability. There is no one else for us to pick except for Kyrie Gatewood. So first overall, hidden dev with 71 strength, 91 speed, 94 jumping, 91 change of direction, 91 agility, and 87 acceleration isn't too awful there. Hopefully he ends up being really good. We might be switching to a primary 2 tight end, 2 receiver formation next year, and he will be a fantastic target for that. Now past this spot is where things get a little bit more questionable. So let's just go ahead and skip on over to our second pick, or I guess, actually, let's just talk about our board in general. So we have a total of 31 players on our board, with a majority being potential undrafteds. There are some day 3 linebackers, and maybe we take a shot on one of them, or maybe even 2 of them. You never know. We do have every single one of our normal picks. As for some other day 3 talent, there is a defensive tackle who can maybe provide some finesse moves, but not much. There is a left tackle who needs a lot of work. There is a day 3 tight end, though, in Elliott Pittman, who is a round 3 to 4. And if we're moving to a more heavier set on offense, 2 tight end, 3 tight end, 1 receiver, 2 receiver, then honestly, we might need to pick him up as well. Past him, the only really other draftable guy is a running back, Trayvon Morton, round 3 to 4, and he does have some decent ratings. He's definitely a power back through and through, 6 foot 223 out of New Hampshire. Has some decent speed, but has the strength. The rest of the athletics really aren't there. But he does have B ball carrier vision, A break tackle, B carrying, B trucking, A stiff arm. Don't ask him to juke or spin though. So potentially what we do is the second round pick we use to maybe make a trade. And before I forget, the only quarterback we've potentially been even able to draft is a potential undrafted. Started as a day 3 projection and has fallen. He's 6'3", 215, 22 years old, out of Connecticut. And, he at least has a fast throwing motion, so that's solid. Has some speed, has some agility. Only a decent arm, though, so nothing fantastic. His accuracy's not fantastic either, but honestly, is he going to be much worse than the quarterbacks we already have out there? Probably not, so we'll still probably end up picking up David Wells. And with that second round pick, it's time to try to find who we want to use it to pick up. Now, we talked a little bit at the end of last episode, I believe, about potential guys that we could end up picking up or trading for. And they come at spots that don't necessarily fit straight into a starting roster for us, but they might require us to move some guys around. And I believe they were both at outside linebacker, if I remember correctly. And the one I'm thinking of is Harold Landry. He's definitely an outside linebacker, but we obviously run the 3-3-5. And what I'm thinking is he does have some block shedding, doesn't have a whole lot of strength, but has fantastic tackling, speed, acceleration. I feel like potentially we bring him in and we see what we could do with the front line to keep Mac out there, but maybe Mac has to slide down to like a rush DT kind of role. It might be strange, but we have to try to bring in some talent, and this might be the best way to do so. And I'm wondering if they'll do it just straight up for the second pick, or our second pick, and yeah, okay, that works out just fine for me. And that was just one pick off of being a first round pick. So, I mean, it makes sense. So now that leaves us with Harold Landry, who is 252 pounds at right end. We have Khalil Mack, who is at 84 overall, 260 pounds. Now, he does have a lot of strength. So potentially he could slide down to a rush DT kind of role. We have Zach Allen there, who is 81 at 281. We have Fatukasi, 315 at 78 overall. So we have several different guys, and we're going to have to find out the best way for them all to fit. Over at left end, we do have Alton Robinson at 78 overall, who's 259, and he definitely needs to stay on the outside. So when it comes to the rush situations, we have, honestly, they're kind of close, but we'd probably end up going with Zach Allen and Khalil Mack on the inside. Just go with a fairly fast front line for our rush, and maybe that'll help us out a little bit. If there was someone else, or what could even happen after we get through this offseason, take a look at our next draft class, is we keep Khalil Mack around, give him some playing time up until the trade window. And if there's someone that, or two someones that are really good in the first round and we need another first round pick, or at least an early round pick, try to move Khalil Mack on for that, because he still has been really solid in this series. So he still will demand some amount in a trade, and hopefully that works out in our favor. Now with our third round pick, we still have a 4, 5, 6, and 7. The best available guy to pick up at this point is Trayvon Morton. He might be a little bit lower than around 3 to 4, maybe around 4 rather than where we're at here. But in the next round, I think I want to go with Elliott Pittman. So let's go ahead and pick up a running back. We'll have 4 on roster, so we should be able to very much run the ball a lot. Trayvon Morton is a hidden dev. That is surprising. With 79 strength, 90 speed, 74 jumping, 76 change of direction, 87 agility, and 88 acceleration. Not bad. In the fourth round, the tight end is still there. Again, he's going to be the next best guy possible for us to pick up. 6'5", 245, has some speed, a little bit of some strength, but athletically solid. So we'll pick him up as well. Normal dev with 71 strength, 81 speed, 72 jumping, 69 change of direction isn't fantastic, 81 agility, and again, 88 acceleration. And in the fifth round, I think we might be taking a shot here on a linebacker. We need at least some depth. Dwayne McGill, 6 foot, 228, 23 years old, out of Harvard. He has some decent speed, okay strength. I mean, for the most part, pretty solid athletics. He isn't great in stopping the run with F block shed, does have C to F tackle, so I mean, it's not going to be a beautiful pick. It's a day 5, it's what we have available, might as well pick him up. He's a normal dev with 88 speed and 89 acceleration. That's solid. 64 strength, 80 agility, 76 change of direction, and 77 jumping, so he's at least a good athlete. And I think in the 6th round here, we're going to take a shot on another potential undrafted, I think it's our first. In Sean Bridge, a right outside linebacker, would get moved to an edge spot. 6'5", 260, 23 years old, out of Boston College. He has some decent speed with some strength, and he could jump a little bit. The 3-cone and 20-yard, nothing to really take note of. Does not provide a lot of play recognition, but I'm looking more at the line moves, right? So C block shedding, D finesse with B to D power moves, listed as a power rusher. I'd imagine that's a B. A to C awareness with C tackle. This is someone you could at least try to develop, and that's about as much as we could really ask for at this point. So Sean Bridge is our 6th round selection with 77 speed, 77 strength, 83 acceleration. It's not too bad. And with our final pick, I want to secure the quarterback, so we will be drafting David Wells. Does he end up looking very similar to some of our other quarterbacks? Maybe. Is he worse? Maybe. But either way, there are only 3 total quarterbacks from the northeastern states that we could possibly use, and David Wells is one of them. So let's make sure we at least bring him in. Normal dev with 85 throw power, not awful, 86 speed, solid, 74 jumping, 73 change of direction with 86 agility and acceleration. Welcome to the squad. Now, how did these players all actually end up turning out? And I'd say overall, not too bad. We'll start off with the receiver, Kyrie Gatewood. Was a top 5 guy, a hidden dev. We obviously selected him first overall. 91 speed, 81 acceleration, 90 catching with the +5 from the boost, 86 catch in traffic, 88 spec catch actually. Does need to work on the route running a little bit. Deep route running 71, 76 for medium, 81 short. Does already come in with 83 release. Has good agility and jumping. Change of direction is a 91. Has some after the catch ability for sure. And injury is a 95. So yeah, solid receiver and will be day 1 instant impact. Does he have any tags? Day 1 starter. Solid. The running back Trayvon Morton, back-to-back hidden devs, which was a little bit surprising. How does he end up looking? 81 break tackle, 90 speed, 88 acceleration, 87 agility, 90 carrying, 81 ball carrier vision with 82 trucking and 83 stiff arm. Juke and spin aren't that bad, 76 and 74 with a 76 change of direction, 79 strength, don't ask him to catch the ball, 99 injury. Yeah, we have 4 solid running backs. Next up was the tight end Pittman, and he's a true 68 overall, and he should allow us to run 4 deep at that spot with 81 speed, 87 catching. Wow. Decent run blocker, awareness not quite there, but a good short route runner. Acceleration's fantastic with catch and traffic at 76 and spec catch 75. I mean, altogether, really solid here. 97 injury and 96 stamina. So, you know, like I mentioned, it was very similar to the previous draft, right? Very quiet, but impact talent. Now, these linebackers don't look like they're going to be fantastic. Probably practice squad guys. Dwayne McGill, 62, true. He has 88 speed, 74 tackling, no block shedding, some good hit power, awareness and play rec. You could work on it. Zone, you could work on it. Man actually isn't in an awful spot to start. Not fantastic though, but really good injury ratings and stamina. So like, there's stuff to work on with him. The other linebacker, Shane Bridge, is a 59. So yeah, definitely going to be a practice squad type of guy. 73 with +2 for tackling. Going to need some work. Speed is a little bit on the lower end. But he's an edge rush guy. So let's actually move him over to edge rush first, because I was actually thinking he was an actual linebacker and still probably will be a practice squad kind of guy, but either way, let's see what his actual ratings look like in his true position and change that number. Sure, you could be 92, sounds good to me. And that does move him up with a +1 up to a 62. Still need to work on the moves for sure. A 67 power moves, block shedding, not awful. Decent place to start off with, same with tackle. I mean, again, has a place to start off with and get better, and he's going to be mostly healthy with 99 injury and 93 stamina, so fantastic there. But we do finally have a little bit of some drama David Wells comes in as a true 63. So we might have a quarterback competition here. 85 throw power, 72 deep, 74 medium, 81 short. We're going to be throwing a lot of short passes. Throw on the run, 76. Play action, 76. Awareness is not very good, and that might be a key indicator of who gets the start. But he could run the ball. So, you know, we have a few quarterbacks we could use this next season. Let's see how the two of them compare. Wells does come in a little bit lower overall than Tyree Jackson, but he's also 4 years younger, so a lot more room to grow. Jackson is actually, I think, a 65, maybe 66, 65, and Wells 63. So only two difference there. Wells is faster with a little bit less acceleration, but more agility, a little bit less change of direction, and a lot less strength, but does have the better awareness. Throw power is going to be lower, but again, we're throwing shorter routes, so we don't need as much arm strength, but does have the highest short throw accuracy with the middle medium accuracy, and then the best deep accuracy. So I'm thinking David Wells might get the start. We might see both play a little bit, depending on stamina and fatigue, but Wells might get the start. Throw on the run is better with Wells. Throw under pressure is slightly better with Jackson. Break sack, Wells. Play action, Wells. Carrying, Jackson. Ball carrier vision, Wells. Juke, Wells. Spin, Wells. Break tackle, Wells. Stiff arm, Wells. Trucking, Jackson. Impact blocking doesn't matter. Stamina wise is better with Wells. Toughness about the same, but technically Jackson. And then injury by far Wells. So I think we found ourselves a new starting quarterback in the 7th round. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's what it is. And here is our opening day lineup. Still obviously have the 290s. That's looking pretty solid. Have some guys in the upper 80s. Honestly, I'm getting more worried as this goes along, and we'll talk a little bit about that with the upcoming draft. But we have a potential new starter at quarterback. Tyree Jackson did play a little bit in the preseason and did develop his medium accuracy a little bit. That is now up to an 80. So if we're looking for the best combination, maybe would be Tyree Jackson. David Wells, though, still looks like he could be really solid. We'll probably be playing the hot hand with both of them. Running backs, we're solid at, for sure. At receiver, running a little bit lighter, but again, going to be focusing more on the heavier sets. 2 tight end, 2 receivers. Kyrie Gatewood, already our best by 5. Raymond will be our slot guy, with Jeff Wilson being our number 2 receiver this season. Isabella will get some time in the slot, but mostly it's going to be Raymond and Bo Melton. And there was an undrafted rookie receiver in Mike Walker who did make the squad. At tight end, we will have Kyle Juszczyk there this year, with Hunter Long, the rookie Elliott Pittman, and Tyler Croft. The starting offensive line will continue to have the brothers Lindstrom at left and right tackle, and then Anthony Oliver is just going to be our overall backup. We're running really light on the offensive line. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. Elijah Wilkinson, 76 overall. Matt Pert, 75. Zion Johnson up to an 83, and then Chris Lindstrom, 94. On the defensive line, we do have Alton Robinson and Kingsley Jonathan at left end. And then at right end, we have 4 more: Khalil Mack, Harold Landry, who we traded for during the draft, Don Westerman, and Jay Thompson. So some of these guys will kind of get moved around. We'll see what we end up doing with Khalil Mack, because spoiler, there's definitely no one in the draft we're going to be trying to trade up for sure. But he will be seeing some time at the rush DT next to Zach Allen, and then Fatou Kassi will be our main defensive lineman for the run stopping, which he's definitely going to have to do some of in week 1. Julius Pryor is a developmental interior pass rush, and that's about as best as he could really hope to be. Left outside linebacker Courtney Riddick will start again, with Isaiah McDuffie being one of the main backups. Alua Khan in the middle, with Dwayne McGill backing up there, but probably won't see the field all too often, with Matt Milano starting at right outside linebacker and Zaire Franklin also being one of the primary backups at this spot. At corner, we have a lot of guys. Most of them probably won't see the field, but Isaiah Rogers and Yidam will get the start on the outside. Will Harris and Austin will be primary backups, with Stephon Collins getting the start in the nickel this season. He was really good in that spot later on last season. We also still have Trill Williams and Trey Avery. At strong safety, Justin Simmons continues with Cam Lewis as his backup. Strong safety, still Logan Ryan with backup Lucas Dennis. And then Larry Davis, another backup that we're going to see if he can do something. He's also probably going to be the first to go to the practice squad if we have to bring in another offensive lineman. We'll carry 2 kickers into the season. Riley Dixon was hit or miss for us last year. So there is the rookie in Troy Wyndham who can come in, doesn't have as good of power or accuracy, but slightly better awareness, so we'll see who ends up doing the best there. And Sterling Hoffrichter, still going to be our punter. And as hinted at earlier, this draft class does not look very good. We have a total of 17 available players, the best being a halfback, Rashard Winston out of Yale, 5'11", 207. We'll find out some information on these guys as the season goes along. There's another halfback in Nick Woods out of Buffalo, round 3 to 4 projection. Very similar size, just 2 pounds lighter. And a day 3 running back out of Rutgers, Evan Holmes, 5'8", 119. So really small there. There's also a undrafted guy, or potential undrafted guy out of the Army. There is a fullback. I'm pretty sure Richmond is in New York. I honestly didn't look, or New Jersey. I just feel like that's what it is. I could be wrong. He might be off the board, but yeah. At receiver, there's some potential undrafteds out of Yale, Buffalo, and tight end. 1 out of Rutgers, another potential undrafted. Really nothing for the offensive line. 1 potential undrafted player. At left end, there is a projected day 3 in Marquise McDonald out of Buffalo, 6'5", 267. We'll see if he has anything good. Left end, just 1 potential undrafted. Same for defensive tackle. Same for left outside linebacker. At middle linebacker, there are a stretch of day 3s. You have Rob Hawley out of Buffalo, Addison Jeffries out of Rhode Island, and James Love out of Massachusetts. Maybe one of them will pan out. And then there's a kicker out of New Hampshire. So nothing off the top end. Maybe we just trade back a lot for some later round picks to pick up all the projected draftable guys, if they even look that good. Seems to just be the curse of this series. Just the draft classes outside of Gatewood really haven't been all too impactful, I feel like, which might hurt us in the long run, as some of the better players in this series are on the older side, and there might not be people to replace or train up to be a possible replacement. So we'll see how this season goes. Week 1, we will start next episode against a very dominant run team in the Colts. Gonna have to stop Jonathan Taylor. We were awful at stopping the run last year. We'll see if that improves. We'll have 2 divisional games, at least in that first episode. The Dolphins week 2 and Bills week 4, who just won the Super Bowl. Again, we'll get through that first 7 weeks, see if there's a trade we want to make by the trade deadline, and then go from there. Hopefully one of these quarterbacks can stand out. Hopefully these running backs can carry us, with some nice play from Gatewood as well as Juszczyk, trying to get him more involved in the offense. Defense has been solid for a most part. They haven't been fantastic, they haven't been bad, but they've been solid. So if we could all just be solid and make it to the postseason, that would be great. Until next time, make sure you guys are scrolling either down below or hitting my bear icon in the bottom right so you subscribe. I'm going to tick the bell icon so you don't miss out on being notified of when all these videos go live. This series posted every Wednesday and Saturday, Monday and Thursday. So tomorrow, Commanders Replacement Squad will be another off-season. Make sure you check that one out. And then Tuesdays and Fridays over on FIFA 23, my noob to pro, my player career. Make sure you check that one out as well. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.